Hello, Captains. This is the Doctor. Welcome to another Starship review. This time I've got something that I'm very excited about. This starship I have been wanting to use for a very long time since it was introduced way back when the Delta Rising expansion was released. During that time, when Delta Rising expansion, there were only 3 Tier 6 ships that were released with that, on the Federation side. Naturally, there were some KDF and Romulan ships as well, but on the Fed side, the 3 Intel ships that they released were the Scryer, the Phantom, and the Eclipse. But they announced one more ship that was coming, and it eventually came, and it was called the Guardian Cruiser. This was a Tier 6 cruiser that had the lines, the art, the design of the classic Federation starship design. It has that saucer-shaped saucer, the neck that comes down, and then of course the pylons that go up with the nacelles on the top. Just a very classic look, but very much updated to be a Tier 6 starship. This was the Guardian Cruiser. Ever since then, I had been interested in the Guardian Cruiser, and I knew that was the ship for me. At the time, I just was not able to get that ship. But recently, I was able to get that ship, and for the last 2 months now, I have been using this new starship. I used it during the Iconian War missions, and I've now used it with New Dawn. I have played all the Terran Empire STFs and missions and everything with this ship, and I absolutely love it. So this is going to be my review of the Guardian Cruiser, the Tier 6 Guardian Cruiser. Before we go in and look at my build and all that junk, let's go to Ships, Tier 6, and let's read about the Guardian Cruiser. Starfleet's Guardian Cruiser is a Tier 6 starship that was designed to be a very versatile starship capable of accomplishing nearly any classification of mission. It also features a hybrid Lieutenant Intel/Engineering seat. The Guardian comes equipped with a particle conversion matrix. When activated, your shields will become significantly more durable, allowing them to absorb even more damage for a short time. Excuse me. During this time, any incoming enemy energy weapon fire has a high chance of boosting your own energy weapon damage. The console also provides a passive bonus to turn rate. The console can be equipped on the Guardian Cruiser and the Fleet Guardian Cruiser, but can be put into any of their console slots. You may only equip one of these consoles. After achieving level 5 in your Guardian Cruiser, you will unlock the Desperate Repairs Starship trait. While this trait is slotted, each time your starship is critically hit, you receive a desperation counter. Immediately upon receiving a third desperation counter, you will receive a large hull and shield heal and will be unable to gain desperation counters for a while. So it's got a unique console that has a unique ability, the particle conversion matrix, and then of course it has a level 5 mastery unlock, which allows basically a large heal as the desperation counters increase. This is, of course, a Vice Admiral ship. You must be Vice Admiral level. The hull strength starts at 45,712 at 50 and goes to 53,000 at level 60. Shield modifier of 1. A crew of 1,100. That's actually larger than the Enterprise D's crew. So this is a very large starship. Weapons 4 fore and 4 aft. 4 device slots. It's got 1 Lieutenant Commander Tactical, 1 Lieutenant Intel/Engineering, 1 Commander Engineering, 1 Lieutenant Commander Science, 1 Ensign Universal. So this is a very engineering-centric starship with that Commander Engineering slot. Console modifications are 3 Tactical and 4 Engineering, again heavier on the engineering consoles, and 3 Science, but it's pretty balanced. This is what makes this ship really universal in how you want to build it. Very versatile, actually, is a better word, because it has 3 tactical and 3 science. So that's pretty balanced in terms of tactical and science, and then it goes that 1 extra on engineering because this is really a cruiser. And then the base turn rate is 6.5. Not the fastest moving ship. It is pretty slow turning, but it's a cruiser, so you would expect that. It has +5 to all power levels, though, so that helps. And then a particle conversion matrix console. And then, of course, the Starship ability package, which is your ability unlocks, all 5 of them. And we will go over that and see what those are. And then, of course, because it's a cruiser, it has the command arrays. You have your strategic maneuvering, shield frequency modulation, weapon system efficiency, and attract fire. So those are all of your standard cruiser command arrays. So this thing is pretty decked out. You can see a picture here. And here's a side profile. So what I was talking about with the classic lines, art direction, for example, of Federation starships, it has that classic saucer section moving forward, coming down with the neck here, and then you got the body part here, and then you've got the nacelles kind of swooping up here. That is just your standard Federation profile. All started with the original NCC 1701 Enterprise, that classic design, right? That classic Federation design that you will notice as a Federation starship. The reason why I say this and emphasize this on the Tier 6 Guardian Cruiser is because they went away from the standard Federation design when they introduced the first round of Tier 6 starships. The Eclipse, the Phantom, and the Scryer. All of those moved away from a standard Federation starship design. The Eclipse was a flattened like pancake, was very strange, and the nacelles on it were very strange. The Scryer, it had a big hole in the middle and it looked odd. It almost looked upside down, in fact, because the deflector was on top instead of the bottom. And the only one that looked the most normal out of all of them was the Phantom, because it was more like the Defiant, looked more like the Defiant. But the other ones just moved far, far, far away from the design. In fact, here, we'll look at them. Here is the Eclipse right here. So you can see it's just not a standard Federation design. It just looks really strange. So when you look at the Guardian, it has that classic design. It has that classic Federation design. And it's a Tier 6 ship. So this was like the first Tier 6 ship to be released that had that classic design. That's what I like about it. And I think others as well, because it has that classic design. To me, this is Star Trek. When I see this design from a starship, it screams Star Trek to me. These other ones were a great departure from that, and I was not that excited about them. But this one, I was very excited about, and rightly so. This has turned out to be an excellent, excellent Tier 6 starship that I highly, highly, highly recommend. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through everything here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just to briefly show you my build currently, so you understand what's on it as we go into doing all the STFs and patrols and everything we're going to do, so you understand what I'm running on it. Naturally, this is not the only way to set it up. There's a million different ways you can go on this. This is just how I've set it up for demonstration purposes today. And I think it's a pretty good build. I will say that my DPS is pretty high on this ship for being a cruiser. I'm able to keep my DPS on this pretty high and at the same time be a pretty good tank as well for a cruiser. So by the way, I'm on my engineering character, the Last Doctor. So he's all ready and geared for full engineering abilities. Got that commander engineering ability. So here I'm going to bring up now the build. The Guardian Cruiser Tier 6. Now what I have chosen to use is go toward the anti-proton route. So I am using anti-proton energy weapons today. I am using Advanced Fleet anti-proton beam arrays, 2 regular beam arrays in the front, and then 1 dual anti-proton beam bank just for that extra punch. Dual beam banks can be quite powerful, do a lot of DPS, especially if you use fire at will and that sort of thing. In the back, I've got 2 regular anti-proton beam arrays. Then I also have the ancient omnidirectional beam array, which is part of the Obelisk technology, but it's an anti-proton 360-degree beam. And then I got the 360-degree kinetic cutting beam to go in line with my assimilated module, which gives me that set 2 bonus called Omega Weapon Amplifier. For my torpedo, I am using the neutronic torpedo from the Delta Rising reputation. And in combination with that, I have the bioneural gel pack, so that I get the set 2 bonus to that, which is increased radiation damage and cooldown on the neutronic torpedo. For my space set, I am using the brand new Soul Defense system. It's called Desperate Defenses. It's the whole set. This is from the last Iconian mission, the last one in the war, the one that ends the war. What was the name of it? I'm forgetting. Come down here toward the end. Midnight. Midnight is the mission.
One way or another.
It is the Soul Defense System set. So I've got the full deflector, impulse engine, and the shield. And I have upgraded the shield, as you can see, to epic quality so that I get the most shield capacity out of it and ability that I can. But it is the complete Soul Defense set. So the set 2 bonus is a plus 35 kinetic damage resistant rating and a plus 25 all energy damage resistant rating. And then the set 3 bonus is this thing called Discharge Repair Nanites. It affects friends and self, 10-kilometer sphere. Basically, you aid in healing your allied ships, give them increased hull hit points. Affected ships restore hit points to allied ships and fighters in a 3-kilometer radius. So basically it's an area of effect heal for your team, for people around you in the vicinity. So that's part of the Soul Defense set. So I'm not going to use that ability really on this ship because that's part of the Soul Defense set, not an ability native to the ship. So I'm not even going to use that today, but I'm just letting you know that that's there, part of the Soul Defense set if you wanted to do that. I love the Soul Defense set. I have to say, I didn't think I would like it, but after using it now on a cruiser here, I have to say it is a really good set, especially once you upgrade it. That's the key. Don't leave it at its default levels. I've upgraded this to Epic Mark 14. I've upgraded the Impulse and the Deflector to Mark 14, but I want to take them up in rarity as well. So once you upgrade this set, is actually a pretty good set for a cruiser. It increases defense. Let's see here. Somewhere it increases defense. Auxiliary improves hull, shield healing, resist hold, disable, resist shield drain. I thought it did. Anyway, it's a good set. So I recommend it if you're going to fly a cruiser. It's a good free set because all you have to do is play a mission to get the rewards. But do upgrade it. I think it's worth that. The warp core I'm going to be using is an Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core with AMP. I got weapons to Aux so that I can use the Nukara offensive trait that helps do more damage with your Aux power higher, that sort of thing. One of those little things just to help get your DPS up. So that's the set I'm using, just so you know. That's what I'm going to be using today. Everything else here, I've got, of course, my tactical consoles are anti-proton damage. They're all critical chance increase. They're all epic. I do have an epic field generator for maximum shield capacity, just increase that a little bit more. I do have the temporal disentanglement suite console from the Crenum temporal manipulation set, just the console though, not the set, so I'm not getting any set bonuses. This also increases my auxiliary power setting, which is important for increasing my damage. Also gives me another maximum shield capacity and increases my critical chance and critical severity based on auxiliary power. So all of that ties in to help give me better critical chance, critical severity, and better DPS through damage alone because I have that Nukara offensive trait enabled. Also, it reduces damage to shield by 3%. And then, of course, the Bioneural Gel Pack just increases my power levels even more and improves my shield hit points. And a reduction on bridge officer abilities, and that goes hand in hand with the neutronic torpedo to give me that set 2 bonus called efficient biocircuitry. So all that is what I'm running now. That's it. I think that's all that needs to be said there. The mastery unlocks. This is what makes this ship unique, obviously, are these 5 mastery unlocks. We will take a look at these in space because it's not going to show us the real numbers until we're in space. Here on ESD, we're not going to get the real stats. Also, we'll look at the stats when we get to space as well. As for the traits, Starship traits, I will go ahead and remove all the Starship traits that I have on right now, except for the one that comes with this ship. That way, I'm only demonstrating the one Starship trait that comes with this ship, which is called... What's it called? I forgot the name of it already. Let's go back to my ship here. I think it's called Desperate Repairs. That's it. So Starship traits, I will turn on. Here it is, Desperate Repairs. Each time your starship is critically hit, you receive a desperation counter. Immediately upon receiving a third desperation counter, you will receive a large hull and shield heal and will be unable to gain desperation counters for a while. So we'll look at these numbers in space, but this is the trait for this ship, so I'll just leave that one trait on. Note, I could have all kinds of other traits enabled from other ships I've had, but just for demonstration purposes today, to show you guys this one trait this ship comes with, so we don't get confused with other traits being active and everything. I'll just leave that one trait active. Everything else, though, I will leave active. For example, I was mentioning the Nukara offensive trait. This gives you all damage based on your auxiliary power level. In space, we can see what that number is, and accuracy as well. So increasing your auxiliary power level will really help get your damage up with that trait active. Of course, those are part of the reputation traits, totally separate from the Starship trait. Okay, so now that we got all that out of the way, let's take a look at our customization options for this ship. I want to show you what you can do in terms of customizing the visual properties of this ship. What other things are there, skin types and all that. So let's do customize ship. So here is the Starship. You've got two templates built in. This is the Guardian Type 1 template. This is what it looks like by default. Then you have the Type 2, which kind of really is not that good. I don't know why you would want to fly that one. It's very simple, kind of removes a lot of the detail, a lot of the texturing. It's just not as good. But there are some other things you can do. So for the hull, for example, we can change the hull. There's two types for the hull here. And basically, I think that Type 2 goes in with the Guardian Type 2, so it just removes a lot of detail. Again, I don't know why you would want to fly it like that, but you could. It just removes a lot of the detail in the hull. The saucer, there's no options for the saucer, so it's just always going to be like that. The outer nacelles, now this is interesting. I didn't notice this until I first started customizing this ship. Can you guys spot it? There are 4 nacelles on this ship. That's right, 4 nacelles. You've got the 2 outer nacelles that you would expect. And then look here, there are 2 inner nacelles. I did not even notice those when I first got this ship. I really didn't. I just thought they were color accents. I never noticed that they were actually nacelles, but they are. So for the outer nacelle, you've got these 2 different types here, just a different way. I like this one. See, this kind of wraps around the Bussard collectors here. When you do Type 2, it doesn't. So you got those 2 different options there. Also, this one has more of a spiky end here, kind of comes out to a point. When you do this one, it's more rounded on the end. So you got those 2 options, and then the inner nacelle, you can either turn it off or on. So that is an actual nacelle. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, there it is. So you could turn it off and not have it at all. Really no point. I mean, I think it looks good. No, why did it disappear on me? What? That was weird. That was weird. When I selected none, I couldn't select... Look at that. It takes it off. That's weird. I've never seen that before. Huh. Anyway, you can have it or not have it. I recommend just having it. Then for the neck. This piece here, I'm thinking, yeah, this here. You can do that or that. So you can take away the ribbedness to it and have a non-ribbed design, or you can bring that Bring that ribbed look back. And I like the ribbed look a lot better, so yeah, definitely I would keep that. Then the stanchions, however you pronounce it. You can have them more swept back, or you can have swept forward. So you got a swept back look, which kind of puts the nacelles closer to the end of the ship, or you can have them more up like that. I like them up like that. I tried it this way for a little while, and it just made the ship kind of look funky to me. I like this look a lot better. And then the bumper. This is on the front of the ship here. This little bumper piece. You can actually turn that off or on right there. So that's about all you can do. You can of course apply a pattern if you want a pattern on it. And you can change the color of that pattern. As for the material, you've got a type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, 5, 6, 7, upgrade if you have upgrade. If you've ever done a T5U upgrade on a ship, you'll have an upgrade skin. Or if you're a veteran, you'll have a veteran skin as well. I like the upgrade skin. I think that one can look all right in the right lighting. Kind of brownish in color, but it's just kind of cool. I think the default on this one is the type 7 skin. So we're going to go with the default look on this ship, which is what I already have it set at in space, so that we can just take a look at it that way. Now, obviously, whatever shield you're using can also change the appearance of your ship. The Soul Defense covariant shield does not have a visual effect, so you don't have to worry about that. There's no visual effect on the Impulse engine. No, there is. I take that back. There is on the Impulse engine, but there's not on the deflector. So all you have is a visual from the Impulse engine with the Soul Deflector set, or the Soul Defense set, I should say. Okay, now that we've taken a look at that, let's go into space and take a look at the stats in space. This way I can also show you the console and what it does as well. Alright, so in space, quite a good looking ship. You can see that this look here from the Impulse engines, this visual from the Impulse engine, that's the visual of the Soul Defense set. If I turn that visual off, that's what it looks like by default. So I think it adds just a little bit to it. I'll just go ahead and keep that on. But this is the Guardian Cruiser. Looks so good. This is the default configuration, default visuals on it. Type 7 skin. And it looks so awesome. It's got a great profile. It looks good from the back. It looks good from the front. Looks good from the side. Looks good from the top and the bottom. Look at that. So yeah, this is just a good ship all around. Alright, I'm going to do a turn now. Come to a full stop. I'm going to show you what my turn rate is like. Now, my turn rate is boosted just a little bit because the console itself that this ship comes with, the particle conversion matrix, has a plus 20% flight turn rate built into it. So naturally, this ship just comes with a flight turn rate boost. But if you took that console off, then you would not have that turn rate boost. But here is what it is like with that turn rate boost. So I'm just going to hold the camera still. Here is me turning. So that is the kind of turn rate you can expect in this ship with the default console. Yeah, it'd be even slower without that console, but at least it comes with that plus 20% flight turn rate. So as you can see, it is pretty slow turn rate. It's a cruiser. Now you can buff that up, of course. You get your flight turn rate consoles, anything that increases flight speed or flight turn rate you can put on there. It would benefit this ship. But as it is, there you go. That's what the turn rate looks like by default, without me boosting it any other way. So yeah, pretty slow. So that's why you really want to go with a whole lot of beams and fire at will. Fire at will is your friend with this ship. Just kind of get to know that ability. But there you go. That gives you an idea of how maneuverable the ship is. Okay, now I can show you all the stats and then show you how the particle conversion matrix console works and all that stuff. The first thing is to go back into our traits that we were just at, and let's look at the desperate repairs. So what it's doing is when 3 counters of the desperation counter are maxed and it applies my healing, what it's going to do at 3 counters is, to myself, it's going to give me a 5,000 shield regeneration applied once to each facing. So I get just a flat out 5,000 shield regeneration to each facing, and then a 25,000 hit points, which is your whole strength healing as well. And it prevents gaining desperation counters for 60 seconds. So basically it's got a 1-minute cooldown. So after all 3 counters are maxed and it does its healing, then you got about a minute cooldown before it can do it again. But that's what you're going to get, is a 25,000 hit point heal and a 5,000 shield regeneration heal. That is quite a nice hit point heal. And even that shield regeneration is not bad, but that hit point heal is really nice. 25,000 can make a big difference for you. So that is really cool. That's like, I think almost a quarter of, or a little more, actually it's more than a quarter of our total shield hit points, or ship hit points or health to begin with. The offensive ability I was talking about, the auxiliary power configuration offense, because my auxiliary power is at 73 right now, I'm getting a plus 3.7% all damage based on my auxiliary power from that Nukara reputation. So if I increase anything that increases my auxiliary damage, or my auxiliary power, is going to flat out increase my ship damage as well. So that's why those things that I have on there that increase my power levels are real important, like this one here, the plus 2.4 power to all subsystems, and then this one that has the plus 4.8 auxiliary power setting. Both of those are increasing my auxiliary power setting, which in turn is increasing my offensive all damage power. So if I were to go even higher on auxiliary, that would be higher. For example, let me hit red matter for a second. And now my damage has gone up to 4.9%, or gone up 4.9%. And that's with my auxiliary power at 98. So anything to increase my auxiliary power is going to help my all damage from my ship. That basically means more DPS. Accuracy as well. So more DPS, the better. So that's how that affects that. I just wanted to show you. That's how the auxiliary power helps me gain more damage from my ship. But there's something else that I'm also gaining with that auxiliary power, and that is with this disentanglement suite. It increases your critical chance and critical severity based on auxiliary power level. So the auxiliary power level is also increasing my critical chance and severity. So if I come down here to what my chance and severity are right now, I'm at 11% chance and 68.2 severity. So in theory, if I go higher on auxiliary power, my critical chance and severity should also go up as well. So let's hit my EPS power transfer here. Yep, see, it has gone up. 70% severity, 11.7 critical chance, and that's with 98 auxiliary. So increasing the auxiliary power does three things for my ship. It increases my critical chance, it increases my critical severity, and it increases just my flat out all damage. So that's why auxiliary power is important even on a non-science ship. It just depends how you utilize it. And I'm utilizing the auxiliary power in a way that it helps all those three things. So yeah, auxiliary power, it can be beneficial even on a non-science ship. I'm not using any science powers, but I'm using things that the auxiliary power can help. Chance, severity, and all damage. Okay, moving on from that though, let's get back to what this ship is all about, because those things you can add to any cruiser, right? Those you can add to any cruiser. But what makes this ship unique are its mastery, that desperation thing, desperate repairs we just went over, and then the particle conversion matrix, which is the unique console this comes with. So let's look at that. Console Universal Particle Conversion Matrix. Alright, incoming energy damage increases your own energy and exotic damage. Reduces damage to shields by 75% for 20 seconds. Incoming energy damage adds to self 10% energy damage and 10% exotic damage, and it stacks up to 10 times. That's right. This is a great console. This could be useful on other ships. Unfortunately, it can only be used on a Guardian cruiser, so you can't really use it on other ships, but it would be beneficial on other ships if you could. But it is unique to the Guardian. So when I enable this, what it instantly does is reduces damage to my shields by 75% for 20 seconds. That alone is a good ability. Alright, that makes your ship much more tanky. But then, in addition, it doesn't just stop there. Any incoming energy damage that I am taking from the enemy turns itself into a 10% energy damage that I'm putting out. So again, I am doing a 10% more all damage with my ship. And at the same time, and also 10% greater exotic damage. So if I were using exotic abilities, then that would also boost that. Now, I'm not using exotic abilities, so that really doesn't help me here on this build. But the all energy damage increase by 10% and the reduction to shields by 75% is helping me. And this stacks up to 10 times, so that 10% energy damage can become, I'm guessing, 100% energy damage if it's stacked up to 10 times full. Now that only occurs if the enemy is firing on you. So if you just activate it and sit there and do nothing, it's not really helping you except for the reduced damage to shield. But the actual damage output you're doing is not going to be buffed unless the enemy is firing on you. That's what it takes to build up those stacks of energy damage. So I'll activate it now. Let's hover over it, just make sure, yeah, it's all the same. That's what it looks like. So it's a very cool looking ability. But my actual damage is not going to be increased unless they're doing something to me. They have to be firing on me. But my shield resistance will be higher. There's no way to really look at the shield resistance, but my shield resistance will be higher for that amount of time. So basically, it's a really cool ability, but you don't notice it unless you're being fired upon. If you just go out there and activate it, it's not going to be much use, except for reducing the damage to shields. But the actual being able to stack up to 10 times of energy damage is pretty incredible. So this is a console ability you will want to use all the time, pretty much. And I do. I use it all the time. It's a very, very cool ability. It'll make your ship better. Makes you do more damage, and you can tank more damage. So it's very good for a cruiser. Now the other ability, of course, is with the specializations. We went over the 5th mastery already, which is the desperate repairs. As I said, 5,000 shield regeneration, 25,000 hit points. We can't see that until we're in battle also. But the other ones are, the tier 1 is a plus 25 physical and kinetic damage resistant rating. The tier 2 is regenerate 1,026 hull, or 1.25% of your current max every 3 seconds in space. Twice this amount is regenerated out of combat. A plus 25 all energy damage resistance and radiation damage resistance. Then the tier 4 ability is plus 10% hull hit points, just for a flat out higher hull strength. And then of course the desperate repairs. So those are very good starship masteries, very much geared toward cruiser type ships. My stats that I'm sitting at here is 50% crew recovery rate, 271 power transfer. I'm at 82,120 hull strength, so that's a pretty high hull strength. Although I know there's higher out there, especially if I got the fleet version of this ship, that hull strength would be higher. 214% hull repair rate, 210 shield seconds. My shield strength is at 17,549. Look at my resistance ratings, incredibly high, 55% kinetic resist, and all my energy resists are at 53.9. So I got a lot of resist going on from that. Again, I wish that showed what the total shield resist was, but it doesn't. It doesn't show you with that enabled. It also won't show you what your damage output is, and you have to be in combat for all that to be taking place anyway. But I'm at an 11% critical chance and a 68.2 crit severity. My turn rate with this buff going and everything, I'm at 10.8 degrees per second, so pretty slow, but you know, it's a cruiser, so I expect that. To make up for that, of course, I have Fire at Will 3. I am using Beam Fire at Will 3 along with all my beams. All of these two back here are 360 degrees, so they're always going to help me. And then I got that punch of the dual beam bank, so it's quite nice. So the stats on this ship are pretty good. Again, for my traits, I told you I'm just going to leave the Desperate Repairs active. I'm going to leave everything else inactive. Predictive algorithms, all that stuff is helpful, but let's assume that you would be getting this ship for the Starship trait, so we'll leave just that active so we can watch for the Desperate Repairs and see what it does. What else? I'll just go over briefly what I've set up on my stations. Naturally, you can put whatever you want here, so don't follow what I'm doing. This is just for demonstration purposes. What I have here works for me, but there are probably better ways you could build this ship. For my tactical position, I do have Beam Fire at Will 3. I got Torpedo High Yield 2, Tac Team 1, and then I got Torpedo Spread 1. For my engineering ability, I got Directed Energy Modulation 3. I got Emergency Power to Weapons 3, Engineering Team 2, Emergency Power to Shields. I got 2 of those actually, and then a Reverse Shield Polarity. Then I have an Energy Siphon, a Hazard Emitter, and a Science Team. Now this is an Intel seating, so you could put an Intel Bridge Officer here, but only up to Lieutenant capability. So a Lieutenant Intel capability, but at least it does have an Intel positioning. This is not a command ship, so you're not going to have command abilities. This ship was released with the other Intel ships. This ship was released before command ships existed, so that's why it is limited to just Intel powers. But you could have an ensign and an Intel power, ensign and a lieutenant Intel power, but it does take up that engineering slot, so then you're only limited to a commander engineering. You do lose a couple of engineering abilities if you do that, but you could do that, so very balanced that way. So those are your options there. Okay, what else do we have? That's pretty much it, except to take this thing into battle. The 2 things we'll be looking for, because that's what's unique to the ship, will be the Desperate Repairs. We'll be looking for that. If I take a lot of damage, we will be looking for the Desperate Repairs for the counters to increase, and then when it's time to give us a large shield and hull heal, we'll be looking for that. And then the next thing to look for is when I activate the Particle Conversion Matrix and see how that increases the reduction to our shield damage, the reduction damage to our shields, plus the stacking all damage. I'm not sure how I can show the stacking all damage. I can't really, because I'll be right in the middle of battle and I can't really start bringing up menus and trying to figure out how much my damage has increased. But just know that it does that. Maybe there'll be an indicator or some way to look at that as it's stacking. Probably an icon or something along here that shows how the conversion matrix is stacking or doing its stacking thing. Remember, it can stack up to 10 times, so that's a lot. That's a lot of capability there for increase of damage. What I can show you right now, though, is what my weapons are doing right now before we go into battle. I'm sitting flat out at 1564 anti-proton damage and 1251 DPS on the single beams. These are the single beam anti-protons. On the dual beam, I'm sitting up at near 2,000 anti-proton damage and 1587 DPS, so quite a bit there. These beams in the back should be just like the ones in the front. than this omnidirectional one, which is a 360-degree beam. It's a bit less, but I'm still doing over 1,000 DPS on it, and then 1336 anti-proton damage on it. The kinetic beam is doing 1576 DPS, quite high DPS, almost 2,000 kinetic damage on that one. And then my torpedo is doing 1267 radiation damage, 8569 kinetic damage. So quite a bit there. It also has a plus 4% critical chance and a plus 20% critical severity. So quite a bit of damage from these without even buffing anything. Naturally, if I buff emergency power to weapons and other things, I can get that to increase as well. So keep in mind this was at what? 1251 DPS, 1587. Now we can increase these things. Now I'm at 1485, almost 2,000 there. Now I'm at 23, and I'm at 1883 DPS there, so quite a bit of an increase on damage from each thing. And then I can do fire at will 3 and just do all kinds of stuff. This is from my warp cores. That's an engine's capacitor. I will show you the discharge repair nanites. Again, this is from the Soul Defense set, the complete Soul Defense set, Desperate Defenses. That's what it looks like. Again, I'm not going to use that because that's not part of the ship. You can put, that's not part of the ship abilities. You can put the Soul Defense system on any ship and get discharge repair nanites. So I'm not going to use that in battle because that's not part of our native ship abilities of the Guardian Cruiser. But note that it's there. I have it just because of that space set. So, pretty much, this is the Guardian Cruiser. I don't have much else to go over and tell you guys and show you with it, other than to take it into battle. That's where we're going to see it shine, is in battle. So I'm going to do an ISA, Infected Space Advanced. That's one that most people play a lot. So I will get that going, and then after that I'll do some patrols to show you guys what this ship looks like in patrols. We'll take a closer look at the abilities and so forth. So hopefully you will enjoy that. Stand by and I will get an ISA set up. Welcome back, everybody. This is ISA, Infected Space Advanced. This STF goes pretty quickly typically, so if I don't get to show you all of the special abilities of this starship, then we will look at them closely in the patrols. It looks like nobody waited and everybody's already attacking, so I guess there is no waiting for pets. Here we go. Remember to look for the desperation counter. It's somewhere. It's one of these icons. There's a million going on. There it is. Desperation counter. So I need one more desperation. Come on, everybody, hit the transformer. So it's impossible for me to look at the desperation counter while I'm playing. I can't keep an eye on it, so you guys will have to watch it. There, I see it going on my ship, but I don't know if it's healed me or when it does heal me.
You will be assimilated.
Ship is under attack. Rear shields failing. Target shield has failed.
Technological and biological distinctiveness to our own.
I'm not sure where the... Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the particle conversion stack. Cool, okay. Okay, I'm trying to find, there's the particle conversion matrix. Just gotta watch for it to stack, which it hasn't done yet. And it's gone.
Target shields have failed.
Okay. That is Isa, everybody. So I know it's kind of hard to see everything going on at once in an ISA. It's hard for me to recognize when desperate repairs is being used. I can't exactly see when it's healing me. And as far as the particle conversion matrix, I did use it a few times, and I noticed where the icon comes up, and you just have to watch how many times it stacks on you, which is helping. But of course, it requires the enemy to also fire on you in order for that stacking damage to work. It's hard to kind of see all that while you're in combat, while you're doing it, but I'm sure you guys watching at home can see better what has worked or not working while I am in battle there. It's hard for me to keep an eye on it. Let's go to the Delta Quadrant and let's do an Argala. In this way, we can look up and see what these things are doing a bit better, a little bit slower, a little bit more focused on what these abilities are doing. The first one that I really want to test out here is the Desperate Repairs. So somehow I need to get the ship damaged quite a bit and let the desperate repair counters count up to 3, and then watch it like instantly heal my shields and my hit points. That's what I want to do. I want to see, how much I actually gain from that if I'm damaged real badly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire on the ships, and then I'm going to stop firing. I'm going to let them fire on me and damage me quite a bit. And that way we can see how much the desperate repairs actually heals my ship. Then after I do that, I'll kind of let myself heal out of combat, and then we'll see what the particle conversion matrix does. So let's do the desperate repairs one first. Let me take out the first group. We'll get to the second group and do it on the second group.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Let's take out this one ship here. Oh, come on, you can't hide. Can't do that to me. Alright, what I'm going to do now... What we're going to do now is do a little experimentation. I'm going to get their attention. I'm going to let them fire on me. And then I'm not going to fire back. I'm going to stop firing now. And I want them to do a bunch of damage to me. If they can. Literally, I'm just going to sit here and take damage. Wow, the desperation counter already went up to 3, and there's my heal. Okay, I saw it heal me, but I wasn't for that damaged. I saw it heal me, I saw it heal me. Okay, now there's a cooldown. Check that out, see? There's a cooldown on it. I might as well destroy these guys. Okay, there's a carrier. Let's see if it can do some damage to me. Fire on me already. Do something to me. Hurt me. Okay, oh, it just did it. It just did it again. It healed something.
Rear shields failing.
Oh, it's on cooldown now. Come on, guys. Hurt me already. They just can't hurt me, can they? My ship is too good for them. I'm at 100% still. Come on, guys. I'm at 3 desperation counters. But I gotta wait for it to cool down. So once this cools down, the desperation, the 3 that I have, should enable a repair on me. 5, 4. Oh, it's just 1. And there it is. Well, that helped my shields, but I wasn't that damaged on my hull. I need a more powerful enemy. I need an enemy that can actually do damage to me.
Target shield has
failed. Okay, so what I found out is that these guys cannot hurt me a lot. They can't hurt me enough for the desperate repairs to make a difference.
4 shields failing. Target shields have failed. Rear shields failing.
5, 4, 2, 1, and heal. Yes, there it is. 100%. Okay, it worked. I saw it. It did it. Okay. It took me, if you guys will rewind that video, if you rewind that video, you will see I was at 80-something% health, 87 or something like that percent health or whatever. And then when the heal happened, when the desperate repairs happened, I went instantly up to 100% on my hull. So it did it that time. I did it. I saw it. The problem with the Kazon here is they're not powerful enough to actually hurt me enough for it to really make a difference. Well, let's see if we can look at it in numbers. I want to like see what my hull strength is. I keep an eye on my... I can't make this...
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Whatever. Okay, let's not worry about that. Scratch that. Let's go to the particle conversion matrix. Here it is. There it is. It's stacking. 4, 6. 6 times. 7, 8, 10. 10 times stack. I should be doing the most damage I can do right now. Or something like that. Apologize there. I was trying to do something. Okay, hold on. I want to try something. Get out of battle, get out of battle, get out of battle, get out of battle. I want to try something. I want to see if we can quantify the damage increase it's doing. So I'm not going to buff anything. I'm not going to use my emergency power to anything. I'm going to leave all of that where it is. So that you'll see that my default damage here is 1251 DPS. 1564 anti-proton damage, 1251 DPS. What I want to do is I want to see if the particle conversion matrix increases that damage when it stacks. I'm going to see if there's some way to quantify the damage increase it's doing. So let me pull out here. Hold on, guys. This is I need this to cool down. Just get farther away. So what I want to do is I'm going to see if this goes from 1251 and I'm going to see if it increases. And this one is 1587. So we're going to watch for the particle conversion matrix to stack. And I saw it stacking up to 10 times there on the last one. And then I'm going to see if that's actually equating into improved DPS from my weapons. I'm going to see if that's how it works. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm testing this for the first time to see if it does. So again, I'm not going to buff anything. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. The only thing I'm going to do is the power conversion matrix.
Ship is under attack. Target shield has
Yes, it is. It's going up to 14. I saw 14 on that. 1400 DPS. Yes, 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 it is. It is increasing the DPS. Let's try it again.
Target shields have failed.
Okay. I don't know if you guys noticed, but as I was doing it, there it is at 14. But why? Oh yeah, because I just buffed it myself. That's why. So I didn't touch anything, and it went up to 1400. I saw 14. I saw where it's at right now, but I had just buffed that, so let's let that cool down. But it went up to 1400. It went from 1250 to like 1400 when the particle conversion matrix started stacking. That's not a lot as much as I thought it would be, but it's better than nothing, right? It helps, and if you can buff other things, let's buff, actually, since we know we go up to 14 when I hit emergency power to weapons 3 and all that, let's do emergency power to weapons 3 and the particle conversion matrix. Let's see if we can get it above 1400 DPS on those beams. I believe we can. I believe with the particle conversion matrix going and my emergency power to 3, I bet we're going to get above 1400, so let's try it. Okay, let's let's get in here, let's do that, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17, 15. Oh my gosh, 17, 15. That's it, guys. 17, 15. Yeah. Oh yeah, baby. 1793. 1793, 2241, anti-proton. 17. Oh my goodness. Particle conversion for the win. Okay. The desperate repairs hit. So what we have learned is that it does increase your damage. It increases your DPS. Not as much as I thought it would, but it does help. So that's cool. It actually translates into increased DPS output. So we went from, without buffing anything, we went to around 1400 DPS with the particle conversion matrix. When I buffed my emergency power to weapons 3, we were able to, normally I would get like 1400 with that, but then with the particle conversion we increased that to 1700. So quite a bit, and then I increased other things. I know I had other things going on at the same time when the particle conversion had already run out, and I noticed that it was 1793. That was without the particle conversion. Let's see what I can get it to. I think 15. No, maybe it was with the particle conversion. That's anti-proton damage. Where did DPS go? 1485. Yep, so it looks like that particle conversion matrix does help quite a bit. It took not quite a bit, but a little bit, enough, some. It's helpful, that particle conversion matrix. So that alone increases your energy damage. And at the same time, don't forget it's reducing the damage to shields by 75% for 20 seconds. So there's two things there it's doing. I think that's the best way I could quantify it there. I mean, I wish there was a better way, but hopefully you have now seen how that has helped improve our abilities on the ship. The desperate repairs and the particle conversion matrix. So that particle conversion matrix, if you're a DPS fiend and you're all about increasing your DPS, getting the highest you can, that particle conversion matrix is a big plus on this ship, on the Guardian. Unfortunately, you can't use it on other ships. It's either on this version of the Guardian or the Fleet Guardian. So that is what we do. I'm going to wait for this to cool down. I'm going to go back to the Beta Quadrant, and we'll do another patrol. And this time I'm just going to do it like hardcore. I'm just going to like not pay attention to trying to figure out all the stuff that we just did, but I'm just going to go in and like own the system, see how fast I can take it down. Let's go back to Beta Quadrant. Let's do something like let's do Karaya. Karaya is Romulans. That's good. We'll do some Romulans and call that a day. But we've seen so far, we have seen how I was able to increase the DPS with the particle conversion matrix and what that does, and I was able to show the desperate repairs and show you how that works. So those are the two unique things that come with this ship. That's what makes this ship unique. No other ship has that particle conversion matrix. So that is cool. Okay, let's just go in hardcore on this. I'm not even going to talk. I'm just going to go in here and kill everything, and let's see what happens. There we go. Romulan zoned. So that's not bad for a cruiser. Not bad at all. And that's, remember, with no other starship traits enabled. I could enable all of these other starship traits, especially predictive algorithms. That one is a weapons buff. That one's quite nice. Increases accuracy, stacks up to 4 times, so that's nice. That's part of the intelligence traits. And there's other starship traits I could have enabled as well, which would help the ship and be even faster. In fact, while I was playing for the last couple of months with this ship, I did have those other traits enabled, as you saw when I first started the video. So those definitely helped to buff the ship even more and make it even better. Definitely worth it. When I can, I definitely want to unlock these other traits through the Crenum Research Facility, but I don't have the resources yet. But eventually I want to unlock those other traits. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good understanding now of this ship, hopefully a little bit better than you did but if you're curious about the ship. The reasons you would want to buy it are for the console and the ability. This Desperate Repairs, remember, this trait can be used on any starship after you unlock it on this ship. You can go back and use any other starship and use Desperate Repairs on it as well. But that is the native ability that's part of this ship, and it is pretty cool. It works, it stacks up to 3 times, and then it does a big heal for you, and it does it all the time. You were noticing while I was in that those patrols, it was doing it constantly, all the time. It's just after you have to wait for that 1-minute cooldown. But during the 1-minute cooldown, I noticed it can still stack up to 3 times. It can still build the desperation counter for 3 times, even during the cooldown. And then once the cooldown is up, that 1 minute, bam, it hits that hull and shield heal for you. So that's quite a nice trait that's part of this ship that you can use on any other ship once you unlock it on this ship. The other thing is the console. Unfortunately, you cannot use the particle conversion matrix on any other ship. It can only be used on a Guardian cruiser. So that means this version or the fleet version. If you buy the fleet version of the Guardian cruiser, it does not come with this console. So you do have to buy the Z-Store version of this ship to get the console. But then once you do, you can put it on the fleet version. Now, the fleet version of this Guardian cruiser would be even better. You would have a higher hull strength and a higher shield strength, which is already not too bad on this ship. 82,120 hull is where I'm at. So with the fleet version, I could have even higher hull. And then I would have an even higher shield strength as well with that, because it'd have a higher shield modifier. That'd be about the only difference, I think. And then I could put this console on the fleet version. So if I were going to fly the Guardian long term, I would definitely probably invest in the fleet version. Alright, so the console itself, the particle conversion matrix, is a really cool ability. It works. When you enable it, you have a 75% reduction of damage to your shields for 20 seconds. Flat out, that's any energy type. Flat out reduction to damage. Very nice. Then you have this stacking energy damage up 10%, and it can stack up to 10 times. So that is quite a bit. And then exotic damage as well. I'm guessing the exotic damage might help with stuff like I was using energy siphon. I wonder if exotic damage would help with energy siphon. Not sure that it does or not. Have to look into that. But anyway, that stacking energy damage alone by itself is worth it. And I saw that it was working when we were looking at the DPS of my beams specifically. It did increase the damage, the DPS of my weaponry. So this does increase your damage output. So if you are really big into DPS, this particle conversion matrix is something you will want to use all the time. Anyway, it's just good to have. And if you're using something like Fire at Will, which is going to spread out your DPS and all that anyway, something like this particle conversion matrix can help make that back up. It's a very nice feature combined with Fire at Will. So that's what I am liking on this ship. And then, of course, you have pretty balanced on consoles. 3 science and 3 tactical, and then 4 engineering. So pretty balanced there. You do have an option for an Intel Bridge Officer. So you can have an ensign or lieutenant Intel Bridge Officer power. So that is very, 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 very welcomed for a starship. You can't have command powers. It's not a command ship, but at least you have that ability to do intel. So you can have regular bridge officer powers or intel powers. You've got a commander seating for engineering, and then you have a lieutenant commander tactical. So you're not losing out too much on tactical abilities either. So this is a very versatile ship, and it looks good. It looks like a classic Federation starship. It's got that profile. I mean, just look at that. That's a perfect profile of a starship right there. Excellent. I think that's pretty much all I've got right now. That's a really good overview of the ship. You've seen it in battle. You've seen how it operates, and I think it does great. I am looking toward possibly extending these ship reviews into doing some new content. I know I've been doing ISA and then these two patrols a lot, and I think those are good. At least Argala and then the ISA and then this. But I'm thinking that with the new content out now, the Iconian War stuff, and then you've got the new STFs with the Terran Empire, I'm trying to, and then Heralds, I'm trying to think of something tougher to review ships under, something that I can, because ISA really doesn't do it anymore. I mean, it's an easy STF nowadays, and I really need a better challenge to review these ships under, but also I need it to be short. A lot of these new STFs are fun, like Counterpoint is really fun, but it would be too long to record a video for just to do a ship review on. There are other STFs also out there. There's Herald STFs. There's Gates of Grethor, which is fun, but it also takes a long time. So there are better and harder STFs out there to do ship reviews under. The problem is they're just too long to record for a review video like this. I'd only be able to do like one of them, and then that's it. Maybe one of those in a patrol. It would be quite long, but it might be worth it. So give me some feedback on what other STFs you might want to see these ship reviews done under. Herald ships or Terran ships. Specifically, something that would give these ship reviews a challenge so that I can really show them to the best of their ability. But hopefully a short STF. I don't want to record something that's going to be extremely lengthy, like a 30-minute STF. I can't record something that long. I wouldn't want to sit down and watch it. That'd be too long. But I will take suggestions moving forward on some other type of things you might want to see me test these ships under. Something that will give them a real challenge, but also be pretty short. And hopefully with newer content, because the Borg, they almost seem ancient now compared to Heralds and Terrans and everything else. I really do like the new Terran stuff. It's quite challenging, but I just can't think of the right thing to test it in concerning all that stuff. So yeah, put that down there and let me know in the comments some other things you might want to see these ships reviewed under. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think of the Guardian Cruiser. If you fly it, if you're familiar with it, or if you're planning to fly it, let me know. I'm going to come out and say I love this ship. It's one of my most favorite ships in the game right now. And it is a ship I would fly long term, most definitely. I would keep this on a character and fly this for years and years and years. It's that kind of ship for me, and that goes a long way in saying that. That means a lot. So I enjoy this ship. This was a good purchase, this ship. I really do like it. All right, everybody. That's the Guardian Cruiser Tier 6. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. You thought you were done with me, did you? Well, no. It's time for a bonus. Because of the special Mirror Universe invasion going on right now, I decided let's just do one in this starship. So this is MIN, or Mirror Universe Invasion Normal. This is not Advanced or Elite. This is the normal version. This is a pug, so I'm pugging it. And sometimes pugs go well with men. Sometimes pugs go poorly with men. But we will see what happens. This is, again, the normal version, so it won't be as tough as the advanced. And you really can't fail mirror invasion anyway, so... But this will just show you another aspect of fighting with our ship here, the Guardian Cruiser Tier 6. I figured this ship is so good it deserves another playthrough. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how long this is going to take. It may go a while, it may not. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Something people don't realize is the more substations you have powered up, the less rifts you get. Nice. Just like that. Boom, 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 boom.
Warning, your ship is under attack. Target shields have failed. Target shields have failed.
Jeez, come on, let me... All I want to do is close the rifts. I hate that you can't close the rifts while you're being fired on. It's really frustrating.
Your ship is under attack. Target shields have failed.
Ah, the explosion. No, 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 don't fire at me, don't fire. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Oh my gosh.
Target shields have failed.
So annoying. Ugh. Wow, guys, got ships all over the place.
Warning, your ship is under attack. Target shields have failed.
Okay, let's take care of this mess over here.
Your ship
Need to get a power thing going again. Okay, lots of ships.
Target shields have failed. Target shields have failed.
Congratulations.
Right shield failing.
Yay, I get another specialization point.
Target shields have failed. Target shields have failed.
Dang, all these portals. Trying to close them.
Right shield failing. Target shields have failed.
Firing station plasma lance in 3,
Firing on me.
2, 1.
Right shield failing.
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2,
Rear shield
1.
failing. Target shields have failed. Left shield failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Hull integrity
Firing
below
station plasma lance in 3, 2, 1.
Dang, all these command ships. They've let these rifts go too long. Come on, people, close rifts.
4 shields failing.
That was rough.
Firing anti-tachyon pulse. Defense relays are offline.
That was not a good game.
It's
man.
working. The Terran ships are being forced back to their own universe.
Massive energy spike
Firing
detected.
station plasma
They're
lance
opening more
in
rifts.
3, 2,
Mirrored dreadnought coming
1.
through.
The Dreadnought is emerging from a rift at 4 o'clock.
Don't fire on the Kirk. Fire close the portals. I don't think these people know what to do.
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2,
Close
1.
the rifts. Guys, don't worry about him yet. Close all the portals. Go around. There's a portal there. Close it. I hate it when people do that. What are they doing? Do they not know that they're supposed to close the portals?
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2, 1.
Look at him over there fighting the Kirk when all these portals are open. What are they? Why do people do that?
Firing station plasma lance
don't
in
underst-
3, 2. Dreadnought
don't
is escaping through
understand.
a rift.
Target shield has failed. 4 shields failing.
The Dreadnought is emerging from a rift at 10 o'clock.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2. The rifts are closed. We have the Dreadnought trapped.
Now you take out the Dreadnought.
Firing station plasma lance in 3, 2, 1. The Dreadnought has been destroyed, and the area is free of transdimensional portals.
Well, I apologize. That wasn't the best run of Mirror Invasion, but it's a pug, so what can you do? It's never perfect, I guess. Although I have had many, many, many good runs of Mirror Universe normal with pugs, but this one wasn't a good one. A good run is when you get all of the portals done before the Dreadnought comes, and you're just sitting there waiting above the station for the timer to run out. That's a good run, and you get that way you get a lot more portals. And then at the end, definitely, you take out all the portals, the rifts first before you fire on the Dreadnought. I don't know why, but people will try to think they could take out the Dreadnought before closing all the rifts. That's not what you're supposed to do. Anyway, it's a pug. What you gonna do? Depends, your players and all that. Some people don't know what to do. If that's okay, just learn what to do, tell them what to do, help them, and hopefully they'll listen. The problem is they don't listen, and there you go. Anyway, that was a little rant and a little bonus for you all to get to see the Guardian Tier 6 cruiser in battle once again. I just thought, after doing the review on that it would be good to do something else with it. I would like to do Gates of Grethor as well, just to kind of round it out, do something nice, but it's cool to see something different with the ship, and that way you get to see it in its full battle glory and everything. And just so you note, I had all my starship traits enabled at that point. I had predictive algorithms, I had desperate repairs, I went ahead and enabled battle ready from another starship, I had an emergency response, so I had other starship traits going. So with everything enabled like it was, this is a powerhouse of a starship. I mean, it is very, very nice. I cannot recommend it enough. Very good starship when you have it all maxed out like that. Anyway, I just thought y'all might enjoy that little bonus. Who knows, if I can get into Gates of Grethor or something else, I may do something even more. I just love it so much. I just want to show you how well it actually really does, because I don't know if I've actually shown that well enough. But it does. It does a good job. It's a really good ship. Okay, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.